learned that I started reading E-Myth, and I learned that certain prices attract certain people, and also reading up on Tech Nibble. That the cheap customers were usually the ones who caused you the most headaches and wanted more something for nothing, pretty much. An interesting thing happened when I actually did raise the price to kind of meet my competitors. I started to get some of their customers, and it helped, and it kind of the bad customers who demanded a whole lot but barely wanted to pay. They kind of weeded themselves out and
Right, right.
started to look for the next piece of tech. That's what we call them.
I'm really glad you're saying this because this is proof of why you shouldn't just try to lowball everybody. And I'm glad that you've experienced that in real life because it's easy to say, oh yeah, if you charge a lot, you'll get better customers, and some people might believe it, and some people might not. But it's
Hmm.
for you to come on and say, yes, I went through this and experienced it, is really good, I think, for people to hear.
Yeah, it's very true. Do not lowball your competitors. Do not do it. It'll it's best, you get somewhere near them and just improve on customer service. Customer service is key. Um,
Totally, totally. That can alone can boom your business. Good customer service.
yes.
All right, so you had people now coming in, like higher quality people coming in your business, and what happened?
So what ended up happening, I realized that I couldn't rely on I realized I had to automate the business. So I sat down and went back to Technical.
Nice.
And I started to, research automation, and I found out about N-Night Pro. Uh, I found out about that. That alone, oh my God, that saved me so much time because I was spending an hour or two installing Adobe Premiere, well, installing Adobe Reader, Flash, and you got to go to all of the websites, and then I call myself trying to keep them all updated, but they come out with stuff all of the time,
Right.
and trying to do all of that, it was a headache. So I found out about N-Night Pro, and then I found out about Auto Backup for Tech because, what ended up happening, my first backup customer. I told him I was going to back everything up, and I ended up missing a bunch of stuff.
Right. I think this
And
happens to everybody.
yes, and the lady was so upset with me. She had a business, and it was like 10 years worth of stuff on there, and I lost it all.
Oh
Uh,
man,
yeah. So,
this is how
but
you learn the hard way.
yeah, I had to learn the hard way, very hard. So after that, I found out about Auto Backup for Tech. I bought it. I ended up buying a hard drive reader, the ones that you can just stick it right in,
Yep.
and it was history from there. And from there I just started to reinvest. I ended up finding out about the Kangaroo USB hard drives.
Oh yeah,
They
with
had
the lock on them, right?
Yes, because another thing that was happening, I would fix somebody's computer, put the flash drive in, and then I would reinfect another computer,
Yep.
and then I would sit back and wonder like, what's going on? What's going on?
Yep. Oh
Because
yeah.
you're doing so much at once in a one man shop. Sometimes you don't realize, that you're stepping over your own 2 feet. Um, and I ended up getting that, and I ended up just buying different things that would help me. I got some better screwdrivers. I I at first I and another great tip too. I had KVM switches. I had three of them,
Hmm.
and I had three monitors. But eventually, I realized I read some posts by Tony Scarpelli. He's also been a big help. Him, Tony Scarpelli, Call That Girl. She's answered a bunch of my emails, and a bunch of other people. Uh, they pretty much convinced me that KVM switches are unproductive. Um,
Really?
yeah, they're unproductive. They're inefficient. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Inefficient. A lot of times you'll have three computers hooked up to it. Of course, you can have more, but I would forget that I was installing the OS, and all I had to do was hit next. So here it is, 4 hours has went by, and I'm focused on that one computer that's not working right for whatever reason.
Uh,
And I could have just hit next, and this could have been done and out the door.
I see. So because you couldn't see it, it wasn't right
because I
in your
couldn't
face.
see it.
I gotcha.
Exactly. I will forget. It's only a click away, but when you have a problem, when something isn't going right, you give that your immediate attention. Uh, and what I learned is that if you just have like 3 or 4 monitors and you just have one computer hooked up to them, it allows you to focus more. I'm learning that quality is better than quantity. It's better to work on 4 computers instead of 10 because you can get those. Sometimes, a computer may not just instantly reload. A lot of times computers just don't go through things don't go smooth.
Right.
Um, somebody may forget to tell you that they have pictures, or the hard drive may be bad.
Yep. These are the kind of things that make you want to tear your hair out. What you're talking about now, because by all rights, things should run smooth, but there's something that does not make it run smooth, and it's different with every machine, and it's just computers are crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I was having a lot of times. That I would, customer come in and say, hey, my computer has a virus. Of course, it shows the symptoms of a virus. It's running slow. Every stuff is popping up, a whole bunch of toolbars. But a lot of times it would have a virus and the hard drive would be bad. And depending on how bad the hard drive is, some hard drives get so bad that you can't even reload the operating system.
Right.
And then you're scratching your head going, oh my God, what's wrong? What's going on? You're changing cables, the processor, the memory, you're scratching your head. But if you just, from the gate, just test the hard drive out and the memory before you even work on it, it'll save you a headache.
What do you do to test that?
Right now I'm using a program called Inquisitor.
Okay.
And you can Google that, and it tests out the hard drive, the memory, the processor, all of that.
Neat.
That's one, and then there's a bunch more that you can use. That's pretty much what I do now. Even when I see a computer, it looks like it has a virus, I run all of the tests first. I let the test run. The tests usually take 4 to 5 hours, but it's worth it in the long run because I know exactly what I'm up against.
Totally. I could definitely see that. Kind of like what?
Kind of, instead of like telling the customer, okay, it's going to be $100 a fix, and they're saying, are you sure? And you're saying yes. And then you have to call them back and say, oh, your hard drive is bad, and the hard drive is now $100 due to the flood. So now they want their money back, and you have to give it back to them because, you promised them 100, but now it's 200.
Yeah.
And
so how do you get around that? Do you do a free estimate or something?
Well, I'll typically just do $39 for a diagnostic.
Okay.
And then that $39 will go towards the repair of the computer.
Gotcha.
And I'll run a diagnostics test, and from there figure out what's wrong with it exactly. And then if the hard drive is bad, okay, it's not bad, okay, just the OS. Then I call a customer, let them know what the issues are, the prices. They say okay, I'll go ahead and fix it.
Good. Sounds workable. So that's been working out for you.
Yeah, so that's been working out good. But some people, they don't want to wait 4 to 5 hours. They want it like now. Now, you have to play it by eye because sometimes, of course, if somebody brings an i5 in, the hard drive isn't going to be bad. So there's no point in, running a test on that. But I have had some that I have had a case where, an i5, the hard drive is bad, but it's rare. If that person wants it that same day and you have a time, go ahead and do it. But if it's, people bring in one of those Dell, what, the ones all of the shops are selling for like $200 or something. The ones a lot of businesses got rid of, the gray ones.
Man, I'm so out of it. Not the D610.
Yeah, it is the D610. Yep.
Huh. They usually have bad hard drives.
They usually, yep. Well, they're older. They bad hard drives, bad memory, all of that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what you do. You probably do something like this. But when I had a shop and people would come in and wanted their computers right away, I would tell them about my Rush service, which is basically almost twice as much money, but they basically get their computer worked on immediately. That was what we did. Do you do something like that?
Well, I don't. I'm tempted to a lot, but right now I'm just doing first come, first serve.
Yeah. But if people are willing to pay, it actually worked out. I mean, people were willing to pay. If they need it now, they need it now. They're willing to pay, and it's a good, it's a service to give. So.
Yeah, it is. I try to make it so all of the computers I worked on like immediately, and right now. It really hasn't been a problem. Usually the people who want the computer back that same day, I'm usually able to do it or that next day. So I try to get things out like as soon as possible. Like I haven't gotten to a point where like I'm super busy.
Right.
Like I can't, there's some days I do have to stay overnight, but for the most part, with me automating everything, things kind of flow pretty smoothly. Like I can on average fix about 30 computers a day, 20 computers a day, and everybody is happy.
Wait, how many a day?
20 or 30.
Wait, hang on one second. Let me just pause it. Is there somebody there with you?
Yeah, let me go somewhere else. Go to a different room. Let's see. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Cool.
Hang on. Let me hit record here.
Okay.
So, I just want to make sure I got that number right. You fix 20 to 30 computers a day?
Well, I can. Pretty much, I have the shop set up, so I'm equipped. I've had a few days where about 10 computers came in, or 15.
Right.
It's on and off.
Well, that's pretty good, man. I don't know many people that could do that. That's pretty amazing. That's a lot of computers. I mean, unless you're just removing passwords off them or something. But yeah, as far as like do full jobs, I had trouble getting 4 done a day sometimes. How many hours a day do you work?
I try to fit everything into 10 to 6.
Okay, yeah.
And what I'll do, I just play music through Pandora, and I cut my cell phone off.
You do what? Play music and do what?
I just play music and I keep my cell phone off. I turn my cell phone off.
I got you.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's good work ethic.
Yeah, friends and family get mad at me all the time. They're like, "Hey, you never answer your phone," but I try to treat the business like as if I was working a 9 to 5. You know, like you can't answer your phone when you're working. Just like some people do, of course, but I just try to give it my all, so I don't feel bad when I close up at 6.
Yeah, I think it's a great work ethic. Good job. I'm going to talk a minute up here about your website. I went to your website, and I have to say, man, I was kind of delighted watching it, because here's the thing about Keith's website. It's at Keith the Computer Guy. There's not much on it. It's pretty darn plain. But what he does have right in your face is one of the best things I've ever seen. It's a video of his shop with him, and you have one employee, right, named Mike?
Yes.
Him and Mike in there working, different camera views, different shots of you guys fixing computers, shots of like the outside of the shop, the inside of the shop. And what it did for me as I watched it was I felt I knew you guys. You seemed like friendly guys. You were clean, professional looking, and it looked like you knew what you were doing. Like, now for you to be able to communicate that on the first page of your site with that video is priceless to me. I think it's a great move that you did that. So tell me about how you came up with your site and why you decided to do that.
Well, I'm a big fan of Zen, simplicity.
Yeah.
And I've looked at over probably 200 computer repair sites, and one thing that really aggravated me was that they all were complex and stuff was everywhere. It was really a big eyesore. So I really wanted mine to be very simple and straight to the point. Well,
you nailed that.
Thank you. I wanted to be straight to the point, and I wanted to, I wanted to give people that feeling you just described. So I called up my buddy. He does cinematography, and he liked the idea, and he went ahead and did it for me. He's done a bunch of commercials for a bunch of different companies. So I told him my vision, and he just came up with everything. I just had to say my script and smile and. Yeah.
I mean, I forgot to mention the video is professionally done. You can tell. So it came out really good.
Yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah, I told him pretty much, how I wanted the inside to be in the outside, and he had a